often when we've talked, this has come up, the idea that you can scale back your operation and sometimes make a comparable amount of money, but be rewarded with a larger chunk of time. And one of the things that I hear pretty consistently from farm families is the idea that agricultural producers have been sold for the past 70 years that expansion is the key, go big or go home. And then I hear from a lot of producers that, oh, we expanded, we got loans, we built more buildings, we got a larger herd. And when you come right down to it, we're making the same level of profit. When you look at how your operation was before 2019, before you and your wife decided to kind of downsize and focus on the important things after your brother's passing, what is it that made you want to do all those extra tasks around the farm to begin with? Like, do you remember that impulse within yourself, or why you thought you had to take on kind of winter grazing responsibilities or customers who didn't pay that well? I mean, what was it that made you always want to expand and have more and more tasks?
Wow, that's a good question. That I'm feeling you've I believe it's a man thing.
Yeah.
And there's a certain level of money that's coming in. You know, let's say there's more money coming in, and I wasn't as focused, and I should be, because I'm the financial planner's son, on the expense side. And so you kind of run around, money comes in, money goes out, and you're saying, oh, hey, this is good, right? And then when you get your taxes done or whatever, and you really see, because what happens is, for at least for me, because I'm admitting it on live TV here, that, you know, I can justify anything. So I'm like, yeah, I can take that on. And, you know, there's a certain pride, maybe pride you could call it, or arrogance, or, you know, you want to be scale, some kind of scale, you know, where you're somebody says, oh, that guy is at scale, you know, we can listen to him. You know, there's a little bit of ego going on.
Yeah.
And it clouds your judgment. And so I think Brian and I talk about it a lot, and we don't talk about financial stuff, financial decisions, like honing right in. Is this profitable? If it's break even and I lose my time, is it really profitable? You know, what is the depreciation on starting that tractor, or, you know, whatever. I was always justifying some of these things because I was bringing in feed to feed these cows, and that was going to justify this extra work, because I was going to get this free fertility, you know, because the customer was paying for the feed. That's bullshit. There's not enough soil health benefits for me to basically work for soil health. I say bullshit on that, for me, because I was like, well, you can bring in like 300, 400, 500 bales, you know, and you'll feed them on the land, and da. Well, come to find out, you smash up a bunch of paddocks from feed bale grazing or whatever. You got to reseed it or do something. It takes longer for them to recover, and you're like, well, I got all this good fertility. Well, but I lost my time, right? I traded, I justified it. That's, you know, everyone has to make decisions, and for me, I justified it, and then I kind of got kicked a little to focus in harder on what does it really cost to do this, and what does it cost not to do it. You know, what are the advantages and disadvantages? And again, it has to come down to finances anyway. I mean, I don't know, you know, I work with probably 200-300 farmers a year, and when I ask anybody right off the street, any group, Hey, what's your wintering cost? Yeah, that's what I get. Right. And then you get, well, I think it's about this. Well, you don't know.
Hmm.
You don't know. If somebody asks me, it's 265 per day per head. Well, how do you know that? Because I buy all the feed. I know the yardage. It's 265. Okay. I can make a decision based on what I know. And that, I mean, that's just one example. And so again, the Steve Kenyon talks about enterprise analysis, everyone in ranching for profits and so forth and so on. It is a financial game to make these trade-offs. And so we just traded off, trying to keep the cows where they are, have a manageable herd, not how many I can graze. You know, what's the right size, you know, for an operation. And we've determined that it's right size for us to have less cows to graze longer than it is to have more cows and graze less. It's pretty standard on our farm. And then we get the benefit of having these planned getaways on the weekends, or weeks or whatever during the growing season.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what I say, I keep talking about is what's the point of money if you have no time? Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And we're not giving ourselves enough. We're not giving ourselves a break enough. Where everyone's telling us, well, you need to look at the profit. You need it. Yes, you do. But can we talk about the time part? And your family loves you and they want you, they want your time. Well, I'm sorry, I got to make hay. The cow calved, or there's a million things. And I just felt like it was time to talk about trying to plan for the time off, whatever that means, whether it's a day here and a day there, whatever rows your boat is fine. But for us in this realm of agriculture, we have to plan for fun or we won't have any. That is something that stuck with me for I don't know how many years. Somebody else said it. If you don't plan for fun, you're not going to have any. I'm like, yeah, because the animals don't care. They're happy where they are. And if you're happy not having somebody trying to move them and, making diagonals and whatever, I get a little bit cranky when I come home and they're, I have a plan and I like it to be stuck to. And then you're like, what is going on? I just assumed it was a static paddock for 3 or 4 days. I have plenty of feed and I waste the feed, but I get my grandchildren days where I'm not stressed out and I can focus on them and my wife and my kids. So to me, that's more profitable.